Hey friends, so what's the difference between an analog compressor and a digital compressor? We're going to talk exactly about that in the video today, and we're also going to use Studio One to do that, although you can do this in any platform as the principles apply across all platforms. So let's jump in. Hey, before we get started, I want to let you know of a brand new course I have out called Studio One Simplified. This course will teach you everything you need to know to produce music using Studio One. So we go over everything from the beginning stages, like setting up the software, to recording your first track, all the way to mixing a full song and even into mastering your project using Studio One. So if you are a Studio One user and want to get a full in-depth knowledge of the software, kind of like an A to Z how-to, this course will be for you, or if you are considering switching to Studio One from another platform. So to get the full details, click the link in the description below. Again, it's called Studio One Simplified. Okay, so we're going to do a little experiment here. I'm going to play a track, just the guitar track from a song I recorded, and I'm going to be playing you two different versions. Version one is going to have either an analog compressor or a digital compressor, and the second version is going to have the opposite. So I want you to close your eyes and guess whether you think the first version is an analog or a digital compressor. Okay, so here we go. This is version 2. This is going to have the opposite here. So what did you think? Which version had what? So version 1, if you picked the digital compressor, you were correct. And version 2 had the analog compressor. So which did you like better? Why did you think that was? I'm kind of curious. Leave a comment below. All right, so what are the differences between an analog and a digital compressor? Obviously, these are all plugins, so these are technically all digital, but in Studio One, the fat channel is their analog compressor. It's supposed to emulate those old outboard pieces of gear that have the tubes in them, so they have a certain specific sound. The differences are, when I think of a digital compressor, I think of, getting a very clear sound, and I can really dial it in very specifically because it has this graph here. For one, you can see all of the threshold ratio, knee, attack, release, input gain, makeup gain, even side chaining in this plugin. So you can really dial in and specifically get what you're wanting to get out of the compressor. Also, a digital compressor has a little bit more headroom than an analog piece of outboard gear does. Now, if you go to the analog piece of, this is like their tube compressor right here, you can see there's a lot less knobs and buttons to do. So you don't have quite as much control with the analog compressors, but they do have like that, in this case, like a tube emulated sound. So it gives a little bit more color because traditionally, like an analog compressor would have tubes in them. So they would have a little bit more saturation, a little bit more color to the sound, giving it like a character or quality to it. So again, now knowing that, this is going to be the digital compressor. And then if we go to the fat channel, this is going to be the analog. So to my ear, the fat channel actually has a beefier quality to it, and it has a little bit more thicker, fuller sound, a little bit more character to the sound than the digital compressor. And I really tried to keep all of the settings the same. So the threshold is set to -25, 2-to-1 ratio. Attack and release are both pretty quick, and the gain is both set to 3 dB. Whereas the digital compressor is just a little cleaner. It just more consistently sets that volume out. Now I want to show you a couple of the fat channel. Now fat channel has a few different settings within it, or old modeled compressors. So this is their first one. If we go to their tube one, we can give that a listen. That's kind of cool. This is like an FET compressor. Whoop. I kind of like that one. That is really neat. So again, these are just the sounds of the compressors themselves. I'm not really playing around with the settings too much. This is the Brit Comp. Turn up the makeup gain a little bit. That's kind of cool. Comp 160. Everest. And then this is the last one, the FC 670. So you can see just by going through those different examples that they all have a little bit of a different quality to them, character to them, differing from the regular digital compressor. So my opinion is I would basically choose one of these compressors based on what I was recording. So if, for example, if I was recording a vocal and I just wanted to get a really clean sound to the vocal, I would probably go with a or clean and smooth sound. I would go with a digital compressor. But if I was recording electric guitars, like in this case, I would definitely go with like a fat channel, more of that analog sound to kind of give it a little bit more quality to it, kind of a cool character sound, or even acoustic drums. I would probably try the fat channel with that as well. So let me know in the comments what you think, what you like better. Also, if you want to check out my Studio One course called Studio One Simplified, just click the link in the description below, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.